Hi everybody, my name is Chris Judge and I am an author and an illustrator, and I make kids books like this one here. You might have seen some of these maybe when you were a bit smaller, like The Lonely Beast, Tiny and Teeny, and then this is my latest book called Acorns, which is a very silly book. It's misunderstood words by little kids, so you can kind of see a buzz stop and a bum bee, you can see him there. So lots of funny stuff. So yeah, I love to draw and write, and I spend a lot of time drawing. But I have to, like anything, if you're learning to ride a bike, you have to practice loads. If you're learning to paint, you have to practice. If you're learning to draw, you have to practice. If you're learning tennis or football, training, practice. So what I do is I set myself little projects, and I do lots of different things. I do one where I draw on clouds. I do one where, like that Acorns book, where I collect funny words and then I draw them. And then I keep sketchbooks as well. And sketchbooks are great. You can do a little doodle. But sometimes I get very stuck. And I discovered these things a few years ago called doodle squares. They're also known as Zentangles and tangles. So they're very simple, but they're great fun. And there's an infinite amount you can do. So what we'll do is we'll draw a few here. You can copy these ones, draw along with me, and then if you like doing them, you can make up your own. And then I'll show you what they look like after it's coloured in, and you can cut them out and make all sorts of different patterns. So okay, is everyone ready to draw? Let's go. Okay, let's do it. So the first thing you do is you draw a bunch of squares, so very simply like this. We'll speed this up so it's not too boring, but you guys can do it at your own pace. So as you can see, they're not perfect squares, they don't have to be. They're just 12 nice squares. Sometimes I do 16 or 20, you can do as many as you want. So obviously I'm using a bigger sheet, you guys have an A4 sheet, so you'll fit them into that. So the first thing to do is pick a square. That you don't have to do them in order. I just like to pick a random one. I'm going to start with some zigzags. That's it. It's very relaxing doing this sometimes. And by the way, if you make a mistake, doesn't matter, because you don't have to use them all. But usually you don't really make mistakes. Okay, so zigzag's always a good one to start with because it looks cool. Okay, now what will we do next? We might do some little circles, and these could look nice. All different colours, and you can colour in the background as well. That's kind of cool. Actually, we might put a little dot in the middle of them all. It could be eyes, or maybe frog spawn or something like that. It's all going to turn into tadpoles. And the zigzag, sometimes I think it's like an old TV zzz, when it's not working. So once you start drawing them, they start kind of appearing. So, oh yeah. Does anyone ever play chess? Myself and my daughter are just enjoying chess. So you can make a little mini chessboard like this. Chess is a brilliant game if you haven't played it. If you're ever stuck for a birthday present, a chessboard, you'll have it for the rest of your life, and you'll enjoy using it. So here's a mini chessboard you can play with. Well, there's one. So obviously you colour in every second one. I won't do them all now. I'll do them after. But they're very enjoyable to colour in. I'll just do 2 lines of them for now. Okay, so yeah, we'll fill all the rest of them in after. Okay, what else could we do? Oh yeah, brick wall. I love drawing brick walls. I'll show you how to draw a brick wall. So you draw loads of lines. It's a trick my brother taught me years ago. He's now an architect, so he draws lots of walls. So you draw basically a brick shape like that, and then you skip 2 lines and you draw the same lines. Skip 2 lines, skip 2 lines, and then you go to the middle like that, then you can kind of start to see the brick wall appearing. It's a good trick, isn't it? And then if you have a little tiny spray paint, you could do a bit of graffiti on it, it'll look cool. Okay, I have some of my ideas here. I'm going to see what else I have here. Oh yeah, one of my daughter's favorite things. Rainbow, except this is going to be a hugely large amount of colours in the rainbow, if that's the way to say it. So as I say, you can draw along with these, with me, draw these along with me, but you can imagine you could just do any patterns you want. There's lots to do. Okay, what else could we do? Okay, let's try a very weird random one. Just random shapes. Well, all squarish shapes, but they all kind of overlap. So they look like they're just piled up on top of each other. Some of them bigger than others, some of them tiny. Now, it's kind of cool. You could put little shadows and all different colours. Okay, let's do some little flowers. They look cool with a black, you guys might have pencils or crayons or anything. If you have a black pen, for some reason they look really nice in a plain black pen. I'm using a big marker here obviously, but if you had a little black, just a regular black pen, they just look cool, especially when they're coloured in. They look like pop art. Okay, oh, that's a lot of flowers, isn't it? Okay, now what else could we do? We could do, let me see, some weird little worm shapes. So this is a cool one. So you draw a bunch of lines like that. So let's say 4 lines, and then you do another 4 there, and then you do another 4 coming down, and then another 4 over that. It's called hatching. It's cool for drawing kind of strange patterns. Do it your own way, whatever way you want. Kind of looks like material when you look up close at it. This is actually quite a hard one, so if you're struggling with this one, don't worry. Wait for the next one. Just got 3 left. So that's kind of cool. I love that kind of cross-hatching effect. Okay, what else have we got? Oh yeah, we could do a nice few stars. Stars are good to practice drawing. Sometimes mine look a bit wonky, but just make sure they have 5 sides. Everyone draws stars differently, by the way. This is just my way. So I start at the top. You're kind of drawing like a little figure. Almost 2 legs, 2 arms and a head. Okay. Oh yeah, the old classic. This is actually a really good one to start with, is the spiral. So give yourself a good bit of space, because we're going to do a double spiral, so we can do 2 colours. So up like that, and then you just go back to the middle. And that goes right around like that. Okay, so it doesn't look like it, but you can actually have 2 different colours there, and when you colour them in, they look really cool. You can have 20 of them or 100 of them. But that's 12 very simple doodle patterns, or zentangles, or tangles. Great fun to do. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to colour them in with my daughter Joey, and then we'll show you what they look like afterwards, and then we're going to cut them out and show you how you can rearrange them and they're very versatile, they're great fun. Okay. Okay, so now we are at the stage where we're colouring in our different squares. I'm colouring in my two daughters here. They love colouring in, they love drawing as well. So what are you working on there, Joey?
Well, I'm working on this beautiful square one.
Yeah, it looks lovely. And Juno, what are you working on?
These ones.
The little shapes, okay. Cool, I'm going to work on the spiral. Okay, so when we're finished this, we will come back and we'll cut them all out and we'll show you how to make different patterns and shapes and stuff with them. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we have the finished piece. Joey's just putting the last few bits and pieces onto it, but you can see now it looks like 12 different lovely pieces of artwork. So we're really happy with how these turned out. Hope yours turn out something like this. Okay, we're going to chop them up now and make them into little individual pieces and see what we can do with them. So we've just finished cutting them all out. We've got 12 individual artworks here. They look really nice. Great colours. Joey and Juno did a brilliant job with them. Are you happy with them, Joey?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so what Joey wants to do now is to turn these 12 into a brand new piece of artwork. Off you go, Joey. So we reckon there's about 50,000 combinations you can do, maybe more, by placing them next to each other, on top of each other, and let's see what this ends up looking like.
Yeah.
There we are. So as you can see, you can kind of do anything you want with them afterwards. You can stick them to the wall. You can make a little mini gallery. You can kind of do whatever you want. But that's it. Anyway, so thanks for drawing along with us. And you know, you can make as many different patterns as you want with these and cut them out and colour them and do whatever you want, really. And yeah, so I'd love to see some of yours. If you guys want to send them to me, it would be brilliant to see them. Okay, thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.